Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Good to be back in studio in our home in Secaucus, New Jersey. Thanks so much for joining us. I am so excited about today's show, about today's guest. I got to tell you about a lot of things first. Last night we were at the John Starks Foundation bowling tournament. That was amazing. The archive will be up on our YouTube page and, of course, on BeTerrific.com in the next few days, as will all the Toy Fair coverage. Thank you so much for watching. You made it special, and it was unbelievable. We want you to connect with us. There are several ways to connect with us. Number one, you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at BeTerrificTV. You can also email us, connect@BeTerrific.com. And, of course, you can reach us in our IRC chat underneath the BeTerrific player on BeTerrific.com/live. So scroll down under that player and join the chat. It's free, it's easy, and you can join anonymously or create a login so we know who you are, and you can ask your questions or make your statements in real time, as well as interact with the rest of the audience. Of course, since we're back in our studio, we've got our hashtag Cube on set, so you can go to Instagram, upload your shots of you watching, and put in the hashtag BeTerrificTV stage, and those pictures will show up on our set. All right. We have a legend joining us over Google Hangout, and I am so excited about this. This man is in the Broadcast and Cable Hall of Fame. He's also in the Advertising Hall of Fame. The list of awards reach from the ceiling all the way to the floor. It is unbelievable, but he is a true pioneer in all senses. What he has done for television, for Spanish-speaking television, is immeasurable, and I believe that the careers of J-Lo, of Ricky Martin, of a lot of other singers, performers, and entertainers would not exist today without this man, and neither would a lot of the stations we know, like Univision and Telemundo. Those are networks that didn't exist when this man started. This man is a legend, and I'm so proud, honored, and humbled to welcome Eduardo Caballero to the Michael Artsis Show on BeTerrific. Thank you so much for joining us, Eduardo.
It's my pleasure and my honor to be here.
Eduardo, you came to New York in 1962 from Cuba. Did you speak any English when you got here?
Not whatsoever.
You and your first job was doing sales for a radio station in New York City, and somehow you quickly worked your way up to be general sales manager. Walk me through that process, because I think coming to the United States not speaking any English and going into sales must have been just about the toughest position you could have taken, and I would imagine in my mind you didn't have very much money in your pocket at the time as well.
Well, I came out from Cuba with a $1 hidden in a shoe. I was not allowed to take anything else. And actually, my first job was not on a radio station, was at a restaurant as a host, where I learned how to say how many, sitting people there, and then running away because I didn't want them to ask me any question. I left that job and I went to work for this part-time Spanish radio station in New York. I was placed in the Bronx, and my job obviously was to try to sell advertising time on that station, but it was a time where there was no interest whatsoever on the Hispanic consumer in this country, and there was no reason for us to go and try to convince an advertiser, an annual advertiser, a national advertiser. So we have to limit ourselves all on small business owned by.
So I think we've run into some technical difficulties, unfortunately, with Google Hangout here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to let these guys try and reconnect. Adam and Peter Poon working so hard behind the scenes, and we can get Eduardo back on the line from Google Hangout. We'll see what we can do here in the next few minutes. But, I mean, you're hearing already such an inspirational story, so amazing, coming here to the U.S. with $1 hidden in a shoe from Cuba, working in a restaurant as a host and not knowing anything, how many, and running away from people, and then working at a Spanish-speaking station in New York City, working his way up. Really a remarkable story that is unbelievable. and really very inspirational. And we're just getting the tip of the iceberg here on this story. It's something very, very special. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break and see if we can get Eduardo back on the line here through Google Hangout. And in the meantime, you guys check out some great content on BeTerrific. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. At BeTerrific, we do a lot of events and bring you a lot of great coverage. But we need to spread the word about BeTerrific, and you guys do a great job of doing that for us. We really appreciate that. But to do it fully, we need branding. And when we do these events, we need to be able to set up quickly and easily and have a home base, to be able to create a set, protect our gear, and shield our talent from lights of the event we're in, so we can add our own lighting and hang our cameras. We've teamed up with EasyUp to do that for Comic-Con and going forward. They gave us a great shelter that takes no time to set up and also is toolless. It's phenomenal and it's reasonably priced. So whether you have a production company, a media house, or you want to just sell some products at an event, what you need is an EasyUp top. An EasyUp top is phenomenal. You can do all sorts of branding. You can add side rails like we have. You can add a back wall like we have. And you'll get aerial branding, on the ground branding, and a place to put all your stuff, protect your team, and call home. It's perfect. What you want to do is go to easyup.com. That's easyup.com. Talk to Wayne Dove. He's a sales guy there. He's amazing. He's become a good friend, and he took good care of us. He's the one who got us our tent. They've got great people there, they've got a great team, and they've got a great, rich, storied history. There's no better shelter, there's no faster shelter than EasyUp. It sets up in minutes, it's fire tested and fire rated, and it's fire retardant. They're really, really structurally sound, and they look beautiful. How could you beat that? Oh yeah, I forgot. They're reasonably priced. So that's the kicker. Go to easyup.com. Tell Wayne that BeTerrific sent you. They'll take good care of you, don't worry, and have your company represented well at your next event. And it only takes minutes to set up and break down and then set up again. Look how amazing it looks. I am so excited about this. Thank you, EasyUp.
Introducing a portable, solar-powered charging solution that moves at the speed of life. Family vacations, long road trips, in the airport, around campus, on the trail, the lake, or the links. The DuoFlex puts the power of the sun in the palm of your hand. With a removable battery pack, dual configuration, and a weather-resistant, rugged design, DuoFlex fits every lifestyle and every activity. Freedom to live, to move, to play, to be fully charged.
You know, I'm a gearhead and a tech nut, just like you are, and I love DSLR, photography, and video. And there's no better place to find out about rumors and the truth and get gear reviews than planet5d.com. Anything DSLR, you need to go to planet5d.com. My friend Mitch, he started it. It's really a tremendous blog. Go to planet5d.com today and check out the great content and great reviews they have there, and figure out what camera or lenses you need for your next project. Of course, they talk lighting and audio too, so they'll help you with that as well. They've got a great forum, and on top of it, you might be watching this content because of them. They're posting our coverage on planet5d.com. So thank you, Mitch, and go to planet5d.com to check out a lot of great information on a lot of great cameras.
Hi, my name is Salam, and this is #Cube. It is a touchscreen display that wirelessly streams all my social media feeds. It is perfect for sharing with my friends and family and also saving my favorite photos so I can take the #Cube about anywhere. Well, who would want the #Cube? Well, just about everyone. Instagram lovers, photographers, foodies, parents, grandparents, pet lovers, fashionistas, beauty buffs, art lovers, travelers. Really, the story is this: whatever you're into, #Cube brings it to you on a beautiful screen that you can share with family and friends everywhere. Hashtag Cube is available now, so order yours today using the link below. And don't forget to pick one up for your friends and family as well.
Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show on BeTerrific. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, we had a little technical difficulty, but we're back, and we're so excited that Eduardo Caballero is joining us, a pioneer in television and radio, changed the face of the radio and television industry, created basically Spanish-speaking television stations and networks throughout the United States. When he came to the United States in 1962, there were 3 stations, not networks, 3 stations that were doing Spanish language programming on television, and there were only about 40 radio stations. Now there are networks doing this, Telemundo, Univision, all sorts of other stations, and it's phenomenal. Eduardo is a true pioneer. We're so humbled and honored to have him on. We're doing a Google Hangout with Eduardo, and what he was telling us when we had some technical difficulties is that his first job was actually, when he came here, working in a restaurant, and he would greet people, and he would greet people by saying, "How many?" and then run the other way so he didn't have to speak because he didn't know English, and he had come here with $1 to New York City in 1962. Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to pick the story up there because it is so inspirational.
Yes. After the job at the restaurant, helped by the American Bar Association that was helping the Cuban lawyers to find jobs, and by a former client of mine in Cuba, I was able to land at work, that job, the radio station, salesman. It was really a challenge, but on the other hand, we didn't have too many choices. So I went out to areas that were never visited by any Spanish radio station salesperson in Brooklyn and the Bronx, and calling on small business owned by Hispanics. In most cases, there were travel agencies, there were furniture stores, and my first sale was to an Argentinian who did not speak English either, and had a beautiful furniture store in Brooklyn. I started there, and very soon I was asked to be the general sales manager of the radio station. Actually, the general manager I couldn't accept because I did not speak English. And also I didn't know too much about the business. But nevertheless, a few months later, I accepted the job as a local general sales manager, being the first Hispanic who was a general sales manager of any radio station in the country. Later on, 6 years later, actually, the people from Mexico, the Telesistema Mexicano, which is now Televisa, they came to New York to open the third television station that they had in the country. The first one was in San Antonio, the second one in Los Angeles, and this one in New York was the third one. That was at the time when there were, as I say, only 3 television stations in the country doing Spanish, and about 40 radio stations doing Spanish. The difference is that today we have networks like Univision, Telemundo, we have Fox has a big and good television network, Azteca. So from 3 television stations, we are now with the 4 big television networks. And from 40 radio stations, we have now about 1,300 radio stations in this country doing Spanish.
You know, I think that back then people didn't realize the importance of the audience, the Spanish-speaking audience, and reaching them, especially from an advertising standpoint. You immediately did, of course, and were able to make huge strides into getting people to change their views, getting companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and major companies to advertise on Spanish-speaking programming and realize that there's a whole opportunity there and a whole market there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, actually, there was no Spanish advertising agency. Two of them started in New York right at the beginning of my working in that television station. I want to give credit to somebody who came to be, and he's my best friend. His name is Peter Spengler. He was at that time the media supervisor for the Pepsi Cola account at the agency BBD&O. He was the first Anglo that I ever went to give a presentation, and he gave me an advice which I took with a great deal of interest and helped me in my career immensely. He told me, Eduardo, buying Spanish media is not a media decision. Buying Spanish media is a marketing decision. And from that point, what I decided to do was to go and talk to the marketing people at the advertiser entity, not at the advertising agency. There was no decision by the agency to be made about going to Spanish media if they didn't have a marketing plan. And that is where I even got to meet people like the president of Procter & Gamble, the president of Coca-Cola, which wasn't that difficult because Coca-Cola, the chairman was a Cuban, and the president was an Argentinian, and the marketing director was a Mexican. But not everything was as easy as Coca-Cola. It was not interest for the Hispanic consumer. As a matter of fact, there was a time, at that time, where not even the census was measured in the Hispanic population in this country. And now we have gotten to the point where we have 55 million Hispanic in this country, and making United States the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. After Mexico, with 125 million people, it comes United States. There are more Hispanics here than in Spain, than in Argentina, than in Colombia. We are actually the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world.
It's pretty amazing when you think about the fact that at some point in time, advertisers completely disregarded Spanish-speaking audience, and now obviously they don't, and that's in large part to do with you. And what you're saying is truly unbelievable, and that advice it's just genius, and it's a shift of focus and your mind and the way you think and the way you attack it. And I think you were very smart to say, okay, if it's a marketing decision, I'm not going to the agencies, I'm going to the marketing people. I'm going to appeal to them about how this is going to make them more money and generate more revenue by selling to the right people, and then they drive the agencies back to you. And in 1973, you start Caballero Spanish Media, and you have Ricardo Montalban as your host for that, and you syndicate Spanish programming throughout the United States. 29 stations, 27 of them are in general markets, and you're in, which is just unbelievable at the time.
It was unbelievable, but there was a point where the television stations, be general market or otherwise, had to renew the license every 4 years. And they had to tell the FCC what they were doing for the communities. And one of the things that I proposed to them, and they accepted gladly, was, okay, here you have a 2-hour program hosted by somebody like Ricardo Montalban, where you can put in at any time that you want, and you will be not only serving the community, but also saving money because you don't have to buy that 2 hours of programming. And it lasted for 7 years. At the 6th year, Ricardo Montalban was hired to do the Fantasy Island, and of course he could not do my show anymore, but he was also kind enough to tell me all the material that you have, where I am included, you can use at your convenience, and he was very generous on his part. But then after that, I start forming a radio network, Spanish radio network. It got to be about 220 radio stations. I was able to connect with the people of Turner Broadcasting and create what is today CNN Radio Noticias. Also working with the NBC, doing the Spanish uh, no, that was the CBS World Series of baseball in Spanish, which had never been done, and also with NBC with the Olympic Games. Uh,
You
I sold the radio network to a big company headed by my friend Rob Guild. Interred was the company that had radio of all kinds for Spanish. And then I began what it came to be the Más Música TV, which was a low power television network playing music uh, aiming at the young Hispanics, which did not have any other type of programming on television, which was in the novelas. And we got to have a network with 41 television stations. At one point, the people of MTV realized that we were doing much better than they were, rating-wise, as well as advertising dollars. And my friend Mel Karmazin, who was at that point the CEO of Viacom, which was CBS Viacom, decided that he wanted to buy my company. I say, I'm not selling my company. I say, I am not asking your opinion. I'm saying, I'm going to buy your company. And we made a deal, and it was a very profitable situation for me. Very, very happy. Then I have to say, unfortunately, my wife became sick with Parkinson, and I moved to Miami, where I thought I was right that she could be taken care of much better than in New York. Since then, well, I was, you know, advising some people in the industry about what to do and what not to do.
It's
And yeah,
it's so amazing. You talk about doing the World Series in Spanish. That seems like such a no-brainer today. The Olympics, the World Series, music. It seems like a no-brainer. Like, how could you not do it in Spanish? And yet you were the pioneer who made that happen. And if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have happened. And thank you, first of all. Thank you for doing that. I think it's so great to be able to reach other audiences, newer audiences, and different audiences, and to extend the reach of sports, but programming in general. And of course, Mass Musica, acquired by Viacom, was such a force to be reckoned with, and of course they had to have it. And it's just that's an amazing story about Mel Karmazin and Viacom coming to you and wanting it, and you saying no, it's not for sale, but just having the vision to start it. What made you say we're going to start this and it's going to be spectacular, and I really believe in it? Because you really, I think in the beginning you had to take a chance on it, didn't you?
yes, of course. But I I had to start somewhere, and I had succeeded since I started selling for a small local radio station, and I didn't stop there. I thought that was something bigger and bigger and bigger. As a matter of fact, I wanted the people of what is today Univision. It was Spanish International Network. I wanted them to get into the syndication of the programming that they were bringing from Mexico, and it was used in only in 4 stations. I have to say that I was responsible for starting the television station in Miami, Channel 23, because the late Azcárraga uh, told me that he didn't want to do anything in Miami. Azcárraga was the head of the Sistema Mexicano. He didn't want to do anything in Miami because the situation in Cuba was going to change, and only Cubans, who were the total population, the total Hispanic population of Miami, when they go to. Fortunately, that hasn't happened, and in any case, a television station in Miami. 23 has been very successful. But then I saw that they did not want to syndicate programming that we were getting from Mexico. And that was when I decided to go on my own and syndicate the series of Spanish movies which I acquired from Spain.
How important is it to couple, especially for like Univision, who pioneered being a network, a Spanish-speaking network in the United States? How important was it to create original programming and news here in the United States that was Spanish-speaking, as well as syndicate other content?
Well, there hasn't been, and there is not that much original programming produced in the United States. It's not really necessary. 70% of the Hispanic population in this country is Mexican, of the Mexican descent. So the logical thing is what they are doing in Univision, which is bringing programming from Mexico here. Not only it doesn't cost them something that they could not afford, but also is relevant. The importance of that programming from Mexico is that it's relevant to the bulk of the Hispanic consumer in the United States.
Well, but I mean, I guess I was talking more about news and documentary programming because Univision does a lot of that as well. And I think that doing news in this country, in the United States, where people are, and showing them the news, but in their language, is really important as well. I totally get what you're saying, and I think you make some great points. But isn't it important to have? Wasn't that a great move to have Spanish-speaking news that's happening in the community that these people are living in, that also touches on Mexico and other countries, but really is focused more on what's happening in their communities that they're living in the United States?
Yes, you are right, to the point that many nights the number one newscast in many of the big markets in the United States is either from Telemundo or from Univision. And then it's the same thing with the music situation. The music situation, as a matter of fact, tonight I'm going to a show that's called Premio Lo Nuestro, which is produced by Univision, and tonight Univision is going to be the number one network in the United States.
I want to change subjects for 1 second because you're such a sharp dresser. Every picture I've seen of you, from all the way dating back to like the 70s to today, you're such a sharp dresser. Do you take a lot of time to pick out your clothes and to work on the style, because you look great? I feel like you put a lot of pride in this.
Sorry.
I feel like you have a lot of pride in your appearance.
Oh yes, yes. I do enjoy very much what I have done, and I feel very proud of what I have done, and I'm very glad that people recognize that to one point or another. There was a guy, I have to tell you this, that on the advice and help of my friend Peter Spengler, I went to see. He was the marketing director of a big company which remained unnamed. And it took me 2 years to see him. And when I was walking to meet him, his secretary told me, "Oh, Mr. Caballero, I'm sorry to tell you that you have only 10 minutes." So I walk in there, and this gentleman, very kind, started to apologizing. And I said, "Don't apologize for my time." Okay? I started giving him my presentation, and 7 minutes into the presentation, he said, "Stop." And I thought I was doing so well that he didn't need anything else. And he said, "Yes." I said, "You are wasting your time, and you are wasting my time." And I said, "What do you say that?" He said, "Because here, at this company, we don't do any marketing plans or advertising plans unless we do it 5 years ahead of time." I said, "That's fine with me. I am not in a rush. I waited 2 years to see you." He said, "No, you don't know what I mean." I said, "What do you mean?" Like, what I mean is that 5 years from now, there is going to be a Hispanic market in this country. I said, "What?" Let me tell you something. Maybe you are ignorant about the history of this country, because if you know it, you will know that I have been here for 500 years. and you have been here for only 400 years, and not even you disappear. So I walk out of there. And a few months later, there was a magazine, Marketing and Media Decisions, would have every month what I call a guest editor. And the guest editor of that month was that gentleman. And he gave me credit in the article that he wrote because he hired people that from that company to go and look and do something about the Hispanic market. But there was a lot of confrontation of that kind. The people who were ignoring the Hispanic market. Look at the situation that we have now. California, 36% of the population of California is Hispanic. Texas, coincidentally, 36% of the population of Texas is Hispanic. But when you come and add California, Asian population, and the black population, we are over 50% minority, which is now a majority. California is not a general market anymore unless you include Hispanics and Asian and blacks, Afro-Americans, and the same situation in Texas. And but again, the situation has changed immensely. The census, the interest and the census put in measuring the Hispanic population of this country had a lot to do with getting the attention of the big companies.
Well, and I think if you're putting on programming, not only do you have a responsibility to put on programming in multiple languages and translate it and all that stuff, you should want to because you can go after more advertisers, and advertisers should want that. And as you said, if 50% of the population speaks another language other than English, I think it would be silly as a content creator to not want to create content for 50% of your audience because then you're already losing 50% of the potential audience that's out there. Eduardo, when you look back on your career, this wonderful career, do you ever pinch yourself? Do you go, I can't believe I'm here? Or did you know the whole time that you were going to do this and make it as successful as you have?
No, I didn't think that it could be done, but I tried, and again, it wasn't easy. I had tremendous help from my wife, my late wife, and also from friends like Peter Spengler, Philip Horacio, and John Mandel, people who were very prominent in the advertising industry, and they were some of the first that paid attention to me.
What advice would you give to young people watching who are just trying to get started in business, trying to get going? What advice would you say to them that you personally take away from all your years of experience and knowledge, not only starting multiple companies, but pushing through the perseverance, what you had to go through coming to the United States with $1 hidden in your shoe?
Well, my point from the very beginning was that it wasn't only a matter of the language, but it was the relevance. How relevant was the programming, for particularly for the young people? I tell you, when we had the Más Música TV network, 70% of the telephone calls that we got requesting numbers that they went to see on the television, on our programming, 70% was from students, high school students. And actually, some of them did not speak English. So we had to put an answering system where we would say, for Spanish, press 1, for English, press 2. But they will not be asking for American songs. They were asking for Latin American songs, or Hispanic songs. And that's what I realized that I was right all along, that the importance was not the language, but the relevance. How relevant is the programming?
I think you make some really good points. I think that I'm so impressed by what you've been able to accomplish, and it's so inspiring. And I appreciate your time. I want to bring in Cesar Chavez right now. He is in Texas right now, and I'd love to have him, kind of talk with you as well at the same time about really realistically, the convergence of the internet and television and how that extends the ability for Spanish-speaking content to reach people in the United States and to really expand its footprint in the United States. I think that something like in 2016, 100 million households will have broadband internet access and be watching video online in their houses. And 87% of households in the United States, 87% of households in the United States have at least one smartphone currently. So those numbers are staggering, are awesome, show that technology is moving into the forefront, but how is the internet and television converging, helping Spanish-speaking content and original programming and helping the audiences?
Excellent. Well, good afternoon. Buenas tardes, Eduardo. ¿Cómo estás? I'm pleased to be here and touch in a little bit on some of the recent advances. My first job out of college, of course, is no match for Eduardo's legendary history, but we were able to start the first Spanish language internet portal in the world. Today it has over 100 million users. Back then, in the late 90s, the internet was obviously much different than it is today. I attribute that to Eduardo and helping me to understand and best position for what the market would become. I was fortunate enough to also meet great folks like Ricardo Montalban from the Montalban Foundation, someone that's been very inspiring to me, as well as done a lot with Eduardo and his relationship with Más Música and what it became with Viacom. But at the end of the day, I have to take my hat off to you, Michael, because the same decisions and the same risks that Eduardo took, you're taking. And the BeTerrific platform and app and the BeTerrific network and what you've created is fantastic. A way to bring positive programming to sometimes not so positive of a world, I think is revolutionary in its own right. So congratulations on that.
Well, I mean, thank you so much. I first of all, I'm humbled and honored that you'd even say my name or BeTerrific's name in the same sentence as yours or Eduardo's. I think that you're right. We found a hole in the space, in the marketplace, and that is that nobody's really creating positive content on a regular basis geared to inspire, engage, entertain, and inform the audience, and that's what we want to do. We believe that the internet is a great means of distribution and a great medium, and it's just such a great way to get content out and be able to interact and engage with the audience. And we're trying to do all these different things. We do it in tech, sports, business, entertainment, and gaming. We hope to, continue to grow that out into other verticals, but also we want to grow our programming out into different types of programming, not just having talk shows and live event coverage, but all sorts of programming. And we're very much a startup. We have our struggles and our challenges, and it's very much a risk for myself and the guys involved, but we work hard. We've got great feedback from the audience, great engagement, great numbers, and we're so excited to be able to bring this great content to audiences around the world. And that's the thing, when you're online, you're not just thinking about a TV market or a country, you're talking about globally. And so we have to keep that in mind, and we are constantly looking at ways and have already translated and subtitled some of our content, but we're constantly looking at ways to reach new audiences, and that's something we want to do more of in the future because we know that it's global, and we want to be able to bring this positive content and spread the positive message out there. We think it's something that sponsors will gravitate towards and jump on, and we're able to do this in such an efficient, cost-effective manner that we think we can make it work, or we know we can make it work, and we are making it work. And I think that that's the key, is to be able to be mobile today, to be able to be mobile, nimble, light, and easily deployable, so that we can, at the drop of a hat, change gears and kind of be flexible and make this kind of thing work. And I feel like we're leading the charge in doing it. It's very, very exciting. So thank you so much for your kind words about that. And I really think that together we can all spread the positive vibes and show people that positive content is wanted not by consumers, not only by consumers and viewers, but also by advertisers, and that there's a place for it. And it's not just about negativity. We have to inspire people. We have enough negativity in the world. We really just have to inspire people and do something great.
Well, in a global broadcast, you started out with just a handful of networks, like what Eduardo alluded to back in the sort of the inception of the merger of radio and television. Eduardo being the first Spanish language music on the air in Espanol, and taking it through today, where you have literally dozens and dozens of thousands of choices as a consumer in your broadcast diet, I think only plays really to your strengths, because I think that what you're doing really separates yourself from a lot of the other noise out there, and really bringing it all full circle into kind of what we're doing here in Dallas and in the energy sector in the northern Mexico opportunities, bringing sustainability to the markets through a variety of channels. One of those channels being, in my opinion, what's good for the community is positive broadcast opportunities, bringing things like this to life. And I would just close on this. Eduardo has not shared with you one of my favorite stories is the story of Don Quixote. And I'll just turn it back to Eduardo and thank everyone and say hello and welcome everyone and invite everyone down to our event here in Austin, Texas next week to meet some of the new leaders of that sustainability campaign. Eduardo, do you remember the Don Quixote piece that we shared not recently when we were visiting in Miami?
Well, it was connected with that gentleman who said that the market was going to disappear. I had been for years looking for a symbol. I didn't want my company, Caballero Spanish Media, to have a logo, but a symbol. And then when I was leaving that room, that gentleman said, "You are going to you are not going to take a no for an answer. You sound to me like a Don Quixote." And, when I got to my office, I was smiling, and my wife said, "Oh, it seemed to me that that meeting went very well. As a matter of fact, it went very bad, but the son of a gun gave me an idea, and I'm going to use that Don Quixote as a symbol, which I'm wearing now here."
Very nice. I like that. Cesar, before we let you go, I just have one question about the event. Can you just tell everybody how they can find out about it? It's an event on energy. It's about sustainability. It's about green, and I think it's really positive. And we'd like to be there for that event to really showcase it and to bring it to our audience. I think that the key is that you cover all this positive stuff. You talked about cutting out the noise. I think that we've figured out what our audience wants and how to deliver it to them, and that's the key. Our retention times are really high. Our numbers are really high, and what that tells me is that there are a lot of people trying to do this kind of stuff. There's a lot of noise out there, but people are filtering through the noise and finding us and finding compelling content. And so this is something to me that would be compelling. We'd love to be there, and we'd love to talk about doing more with both of you guys as far as bringing positive content to Spanish-speaking audiences and other languages around the globe as well. But tell everybody about a little bit more about the event and then how they can find out about it. And then maybe I have one more question for Eduardo, and we'll let you gentlemen go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael. And I would just like to actually make this a challenge to you, Michael. I'd like to come back in 20 years from now, probably sooner than that, but no later than 20 years. It should take you I'd say about 36 months at the pace you're traveling. I'd like to come back and see you as the #1 positive destination online and in media, carte blanche. And I would like to see how we can translate that into multiple languages. I think there's a lot of Spanish language folks that would love to learn more about what you're doing for the positive outlook and perspective of some of the guests that you bring on the air. And as far as our little thing, we've got a couple hundred oil executives visiting us, and essentially that's building off of what we did with the Fuegos de Veracruz, the 22nd annual Latin American Olympics in Veracruz, Mexico for 16 days, 31 countries participated, over 80 sports on 17 major networks, including ESPN, Deportes Azteca, and others. So we're bringing a lot of these folks together to help us understand how to build sustainability in the Latin American region before we go and work with them on a variety of natural resources-based products and projects and relationships. So next week, we're sort of building that program out. George P. Bush is our keynote. We've invited, of course, Eduardo and yourself and a couple other major networks down there to kick it off. It's an inaugural event, but we're doing 20 of these. So each year we're going to feature new sustainability and new relationships on how folks around the world can help build and live in a better city, in a better town, in a better community for them and their family.
And how do people find out about it?
I'm sorry. Of course, you can go to www.w-1.co. It's the Texas Mexico Forum. It's the 26th of this month. It's next week. We're also going to be touring the Formula One facility down there. As you know, Austin's host of Formula one of the largest fixed racing communities in the world now. Formula One has based their somewhere around $5 billion investment there with the Formula One program. And so it's going to be an exciting time, 3 or 4 days of activities and events, simulcast, and hopefully it will be terrific.
Can we get out on the track if we come?
Only if Eduardo is driving.
I'm there. Eduardo, are you a car guy?
Yes.
You are. What's your favorite? I'm a car guy. What's your favorite car?
Mercedes.
Mercedes. That's not bad at all. I like that. My favorite car of all time, I have two: the Mercedes Gullwing, the original Gullwing, and the 1985 Ferrari GTO 288, and that was not brought into the country legally, only gray market. It's a 308 on steroids, twin turbocharged V8 engine, unbelievable. And of course, the original Gullwing for its grace and beauty, handling, styling, in the just unbelievable. Eduardo, I just have to know, Cesar, thank you so much for joining us, by the way, and thank you for that information, and we'll do everything we can to be there. I think it would be awesome to bring the conference to our audience. www.w-1.co. You got to check it out. Eduardo, I know you had a long journey, and it was a hard journey. Was there any time that you had where you said, I just can't do this, or maybe, at the end of a long day you said it's just not going to work out? And if so, how did you find the way to keep going?
Frankly, I never did think that it would not be working. Frankly, I have gone a very, very difficult time getting out of Cuba, coming here with practically nothing, and nothing was going to be worse than. And I kept going, and I had help of a great number of people. I became convinced immediately that I was landed in the most generous country in the world. There is no better place to live, even in your own country. But I consider the United States my country now. I have been living here more than what I was living in Cuba. So I feel, I feel every night very fortunate that I was living in liberty, freedom, because that is the most important thing that any human being can have. Health is secondary. Wealth is secondary. The most important thing that a human being can have is freedom. And I found it here.
Yes, I mean, I couldn't have said it more gracefully, more eloquent, or more honestly. I think that's true. And I've had the honor and privilege to interview on back-to-back days a real American hero, a guy who went to Afghanistan defending our freedom and our liberty and lost 3 limbs and is still positive and smiling and still wanting to serve, joined the FDNY, the Fire Department of New York, as an administrator to still help out. We told his wonderful story last night. And, of course, you're such a pioneer. You've changed the landscape of America, of television, of media. It's an honor and a privilege to have you on today. And having him and then having you showing what the liberty and the freedom affords us is unbelievable. People like him, the soldiers, they go out and ensure our freedom so that guys like you can make sure that you can change the world, and you really do. And Eduardo, I'm really honored and humbled that you joined us on BeTerrific. Thank you so much. Please come back often. Don't be a stranger. I love that you told your story and you inspired our audience so greatly. Thank you so much. That's Eduardo Caballero, everybody. This is the Michael Artsis Show. Of course, we had Cesar Chavez on. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. I'm just so excited. I don't even know what to say. We'll be back. Hi, I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for watching BeTerrific. We hope you're enjoying the great content. Our team here works tirelessly to put together an amazing lineup of content for you, and they want to thank you for watching. So on behalf of them, thank you. Now, a few months back, we brought you the story of Tina Katz. It's an inspiring, uplifting, and miraculous story, and it's not over yet. Tina is a good friend of mine, and she's the sister of BeTerrific co-founder Peter Poon. Unfortunately, she was in a terrible accident just before the new year, and she lost her legs. But Tina finally got prosthetics with your help, and now she still needs your help because her fight isn't over yet. She still needs to accomplish a lot. To find out more, go to TinaVerseThe7Train.com. You can read all about her story, and you can find out exactly what she needs. And there you can donate, because it takes a community to help get Tina back on her feet. Her story is so inspiring. I hope that one day she'll go public and tell her story to everybody so that she can do the speaking circuit and uplift a lot of people. But right now, I know she's uplifting and inspiring you just like she does me. Don't worry, at BeTerrific, we'll keep you up to date on her progress and do more stories so that you can follow how she's doing. But you can also do that on TinaVerseThe7Train.com. And, of course, you can go there to donate. Please do. I'm Michael Artsis. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And keep it locked to BeTerrific. My favorite two devices are my iPhone and iPad. I really love them. And I really want to ditch the laptop so that I can just use the iPhone and iPad on the road. Well, if I do that, that means that I have to be able to bring my BeTerrific content with me. And I'm so excited to announce that now you can. We teamed up with Como, COMO.com. You can go build your own app there to build our app. And we've got an amazing app. Not only is it in the Apple iTunes Store, it's also in the Android Store and the Amazon Kindle Store. And you can get your app just by going to BeTerrific.com/app. It's free and it's fun. You can interact with us and engage with us. You can follow us socially, and you can watch all our content on the go, including our live stuff. And there's a whole lot more features here, including getting in touch with us. Go to BeTerrific.com/app, pick which device you have, and it'll take you to the right store. You'll be able to download this app free and take us on the go. Have fun with it and do it now. And by the way, there's an events page so you can find out about all our coverage and events that are coming up. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for supporting us, and continue to enjoy our amazing content.
Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. I think that was a really great interview by Eduardo Caballero, and of course Cesar Chavez joining us. Very complimentary too. I'm blown away by that. I'm bowled over. Just unbelievable what Eduardo has put together. And it's just amazing. It's so inspirational. I'm glad we can bring you business and TV stories like that, because that's really a business story. Thank you guys for sitting through the technical difficulties we had using Google Hangout instead of Skype so we could get them both on. Google Hangout is what it is. It has its issues, but when you got to use it, you got to use it. You guys are in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we've got something special. I don't think we're going to stream it live, although we might do something fun when we get there. We'll see what happens. We're going to do a piece on O.J. Anderson, Otis Anderson's celebrity poker tournament for charity. So supposedly there'll be a lot of celebrities there. And, you want to know something interesting, Pete? You don't even know this. Guess who called me last night as we're walking back into the studio here to put the stuff down? Guess who called me?
I have no idea.
Jason Williams.
Jay will.
Jason Williams, we interviewed him last night. Actually, Chris interviewed him. He called me to tell me how great a job Chris did. And he said, listen, if you'd like to do anything else with me, please let me know. He's got a podcast that's really popular on CBS.
Chris is a natural.
Huh?
Chris is a
Chris
natural.
is a natural, and these guys love him. I think they want more Chris, to be honest with you. But I got to tell you, Jason was surprising that he called. It's unbelievable. How nice is that?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I mean, all these guys, Oakley, Starks,
Yes.
Allen Houston, you know.
And I listened to his podcast with Oakley last night on CBS. It was unbelievable. It's the funniest. I'm driving home dying laughing. So you got to check out Jason Williams' podcast on CBS, and hopefully he'll do more with BeTerrific as well. You know, in addition to that, I think we saw some other guys too. Ron Darling wants us to come out to his golf tournament in the summer. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll have to. I think we should stream live from the golf tournament. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how everything works with that, technically.
Yeah. That's your job. I just say yes to everything. That's the cool thing. I get to say, yeah, we'll be there. And then you get to figure out how we'll be there and how to make it happen. You do such a great job. It's not easy doing this, is it? I mean, you run around like a chicken with no head. I really run around like a chicken with no head, but you do it more because you got to deal with the technical stuff and you got to deal with Adam Holtz. I'm just kidding. Adam does a great job too.
It's simple.
It's simple. Oh, okay. By the way, Pete, I want to say something. Happy Chinese New Year.
Oh, I'm not Chinese. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you celebrate? I mean, I know your family does, but do you celebrate?
I'm just kind of there.
Do you take it all in? Do you relax? What do you do? What do you do for the Chinese New Year? Is it, we see these parades and these celebrations, but what do you actually do? Do you just sit around like
we
New
just
Year's Day?
eat.
You just eat a lot.
Yeah.
So what kinds of things will you eat tonight?
You know, I don't know anything about Chinese food.
That's actually true. I've been to dim sum with you, and you don't even know what to order. You just literally just say yes to everything, and I'm like, what's that? I don't know. What did I just eat? Quail? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, chicken feet. You probably just ate some chicken feet.
Oh, that's great. So happy about that. Seriously though, what is your is there something special? Is there one thing?
No, we just eat. That's about it. When we were young, you'd get money. The adults would give you money, so that was fun. But
yeah, money. I like that. They put that in the little red envelope, right?
Yeah.
And how much is it? Is it like $1 or $2? Is it like $50?
No, it depends. You could get $100.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And then what about who wears the dragon in your family? Do you have that? Do you get out the dragon and somebody dance around the house?
No.
No. Because that would be cool. What if your sister did it? Wouldn't that be cool? What if Tina put on the dragon head?
I don't know. We just make fun of her probably.
Yeah. Do you have the dragon head? Does any?
No.
Is it just for parades?
What's the matter with you?
I don't know. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't know anything.
No, it's just for entertainment purposes, like on a parade and stuff.
Okay. And is there a big New Year's parade in China? I know that there isn't Chinatown in New York, but is there in China?
I'm sure there's a big celebration there.
Yeah. And then in Chinatown, there's a big celebration. And then I saw the dragon head last year, the dragon dancing that with you. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I wonder if they still do fireworks. Probably not, because it's illegal.
Yeah. Well, that never stops anybody.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'm ever going to get rid of this cough, by the way. I don't have my cough button. We didn't set it back up yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did everything the doctor said to do, except for take that codeine, because I can't be alert if I take the codeine. I was supposed to take cough syrup with codeine.
It's a lot better, though.
I almost did everything the doctor told me. It is a lot better. I played with Jack all morning. All morning I played with Jack. It was so nice. He built the train set by himself. He's starting to do that. And then I helped him build it so that he could bridge it overneath the little gate that keeps him out of his room or the dog out of his room. And so it's a lot of fun. We did that. And we played with a leap pad, leapfrog leap pad. I took a picture of that to send our friend Tom, who's now our friend, of course, at Leapfrog, Tom Kalinsky. And, we had a lot of fun.
Tom's amazing.
Yeah, we ran around. I chased him, just going, ah. That was cool. And we played some hoops.
Nice.
Yeah, he can jam. I can't. He can.
He's going to beat you soon.
He's already beating me. He wears me down I have a lot of energy. He wears me down. 21 months old, he wears me down. That motor never quits. It's because I tell him, I said, keep those legs moving. By the way, I think we're going to make this happen with Brienne next week. I wonder if they're even paying attention in the chat room. Ben or Digital Phil or Janny, if they're actually paying attention, they would be excited to know, as well as all our viewers, that I think we're going to get Brienne on the ice with me next week. We'll have an update probably tomorrow or something. We'll keep you guys posted. Anyway, I think that's it for today's Michael Artsis show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I can't thank Eduardo and Cesar enough for being on. And you know what? We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. For everybody here at BeTerrific, thank you so much for watching. Of course, be terrific.